welcome back to part 5 of the homestead greenhouse. Man, I didn't even comb my hair and I'm on TV and everything. Is that better? Okay, part 5. I'm going to be putting some water in off of the water tower, the ram pump system. So we need water in the greenhouse to supply the future sink, supply the irrigation, the drip system that we'll put in there. And just using some commonly used things you can scrounge around at, maybe you're in your own plumbing supply drawer or home rebuild it set type centers. We'll see if we can't get some water in here and not spend a bunch of money doing it. So the plumbing pipe that we're going to be using inside is a relatively new product, you know, maybe in the last 10-15 years or so. Those of you guys who are not real familiar with it may not have seen it, but it's called by several different names, Wranglerstar or PEX pipe. It doesn't matter, it's essentially the same thing. But this has really revolutionized plumbing. It's really nice, and I've done several houses with it, and it's super fast. So instead of the days where you had galvanized, where you had to thread everything, or copper, where you had to sweat the joints, which is really a miserable job for those who don't do it all the time, you simply have these slide-on fittings with the clamps. So mine's a little bit of an older version, but there's a proprietary tool you can see right here that just simply, once you install the fitting, like a T or a reducer or whatever, you put these clamps over them. And you can see on the tool here, the clamp fits inside the tool. And this particular one will not, once you start ratcheting it, you can hear that clicking, it will not let you release it until you've compressed it all the way. And that's a nice safety feature because you're not going to have a pipe leaking on you. So you'll know it's all the way tight. So as soon as that's all the way tight, the tool will release, and then you'll have just a bomber joint that won't come loose. This stuff is really tough. It's flexible. It's easy to bend around corners. It's really great for remodeling. It's just really a delight to work with. Super simple. I've got some friends that are using it for airlines in their shop with good results, and it makes plumbing enjoyable. So here's where we're going to start. And this little piece right here is just a brass fitting. You can see it's got the holes on it for mounting it solid to framing. This will be used for the hose that comes out for your shower head, or maybe different fixtures that you need some strength, that you don't want wiggling around as they come through the drywall, through the finish. And this will correspond right to the threads on the washer valve. And the nice thing about the washer valve is it's all ready to receive just a standard garden hose fitting. So it works perfect for greenhouses. So we'll mount this and then we'll start running our lines. I don't know what you call it. I'm sure there'll be a plumber in the comments that can give us a proper nomenclature. So one of the really nice things about this PEX pipe is it's so easy to cut. Just with a standard cutter, you can see like this, it's got a knife in it. It's really a dream to work with. Sticking with the theme of using what you got, homesteading on a budget, certainly what we're doing is using what we have. And I happen to have a lot of 3/4 inch. This here is 3/4 inch, this here is 1/2 inch. Usually with plumbing, when it goes to supply lines, what a supply means that it's a water line that's feeding several fixtures, maybe a toilet and a sink, or maybe multiple bathrooms. You're going to go with a larger size. Some of the bigger houses will supply, real big houses will supply with 1 inch, or most of them are going to be 3/4 like this. Once you go off of there, 1/2 inch or smaller is fine. So a whole greenhouse could probably be done in 1/2 inch, no problem whatsoever. But I have a bunch of 3/4 inch, so I'll run the mains 3/4 and then I'll reduce down. So that's what I'm getting ready to do now. So a standard reducer is just a piece like this, where we're going to go from 1/2 inch to 3/4. So this piece here that we just installed is 1/2 inch, and I happen to be using 3/4 for the main, so that's what I'll be using for the rest of the video. But let's get that reduced down and start running our pipe. Alright, so for 1/2 inch we'll put 2 clamps on here. And then our adapter. And then using our tool, I just love this stuff. What a great product it is. Alright, now we're ready to go to 3/4 inch. Something to consider when you're buying your PEX pipe is it's going to come two ways. It's going to come in 10-foot long sticks, pre-cut, or it's going to come in rolls, 50 or 100-foot rolls. I prefer, if you have a choice, to buy the sticks. You might have to add a couple more couplers, but the problem with the rolls is they have a memory. You can see right there how round that is, and it's hard to do a real clean plumbing job that way. I mean, you can straighten it out, but it seems like it tends to want to go back. So it's much nicer working with the 10-foot pieces than the big coils, all things being equal. So now we'll put our first 90 on, a 3/4, and then we'll use this, pull it up there and measure it, we'll make our cut, and then hook it to that adapter. I always like to save these little pieces if I'm doing a larger job, because they just come in handy and I never throw those away. So I've got my 90 on there, and I'll just kind of eyeball that, make my cut. It'd be better to put this, run this 1/2 inch all the way to the main, but I don't have any more 1/2 inch, so that's what we're doing today. So when you're working, always try to think about what you're going to do in the future. In the future, I'm going to want to run some more water off of this line, so now is the time I'm going to cut in my tea. And I'll just put a cap on that, so when I'm ready to expand this over to the sink, simply take the cap off and then continue on. I don't have to just saves me less. It just saves me a little bit of work in the future. So here I have my future stub out piece. I'm just using a shark fitting on this. I like these because they're so simple to take off and put back on. You can reuse them. We'll put this clamp this onto our T, stub out for our future connection. So now it's time to make our penetration through the exterior wall. So we'll get the closest matching bit we have. Alright, so let's put our outside piece on. Alright, so the last thing we need to do inside is mount the valve. So I've been using recently this pipe joint compound versus Teflon tape. I like it better. It's just quicker and less hassle to use. So I'll put that on there. I've yet to have anything leak that I've used it on. It's a little bit messy, but it's faster and easier than Teflon. Alright, let's get our valve installed. These washing machine valves are just perfect for outside use, greenhouses, because it's just ready to accept a standard garden hose fitting. And I really like the quarter turn option. Nice. Alright, let's go outside and we'll make the connection to the main. Get some water in here. So here we are in the back of the greenhouse, and we've got our stub out there. And you can see on the fence line is the perimeter main. So this is what we'll tie into right here. This is what's being fed by the water tower from the ram pump. Alright, so now we need to cut in a T on our main, so kind of identify where that's going to be. I always just mark it with my finger and then run the blade right to my tip of my finger. And now we're going to be using a a very different type of pipe. This is more of an agricultural style that's just held together with these stainless steel clamps. The reason people use this pipe mainly is because of cost. It is less expensive and not as easy to work with, especially when it's cold. And don't forget to put your clamps on before you set your fittings. Okay. So this is a nice tool. It's a kind of a ratcheting T-handle that's got the specific torque setting in it for these clamps. Whether you're using a Fernco coupler or whatever type of plumbing fittings that require clamps, you always get the right tension on it because it breaks over like a torque wrench when you're done. It's much easier to use than a screwdriver. Alright, so now we've got PEX pipe here, and we've got this agricultural here pipe, but we've got to make this conversion because this will not fit on here. So as I said, sticking with the theme of using what I've got, we're going to have to get a little creative here. Alright, so now we've got to make an adapter between that black pipe, the poly pipe, and the PEX pipe. And so what I came up with is right here. We'll make our own adapter. If you're a plumber, please don't hate on me. I know I'm just using things that I found, and it's a long drive to the hardware store. So it's got 3/4 inch threads and a galvanized coupler. So we'll put some of this on here. This is just an old shark fitting, which I think I've probably showed these in the past. If I haven't, they're amazing. They just clamp, fit over. You can use them with all different types of pipe. They'll fit on copper, they'll fit on PEX. I think they'll fit on even CPVC. But really great for repairs. I keep those in my plumbing box if I have a midnight repair to do. That a couple couplers and a section of pipe in all sizes, then I can just easily cut out the section that's broken and do a repair with just minimal tools. Alright, this is plastic, so we're not going to get too carried away with it, and our pressures are not super high here, so you can always come back and tighten it, you know, if it leaks a little bit. But if we over tighten it now and stress the threads, then that's not doing us any good. One thing you can do with these cans, whether it's PVC glue or whatever you have, with any type of a can that's got an applicator on it, for some reason they don't make the brushes long enough. And so what I do is, I don't have a hammer here, but I put this on a block and smash those edges down. Just keep working them down, and what that does is that puts that brush down there deeper, where you can get to that bottom compound or glue or primer. All right. Here's a note also on these stainless steel clamps. There's a lot of cheap Chinese-made stainless steel clamps, because usually the reason why you want stainless is because they're going to be used outside, and it needs to be able to stand up to the environment. And so you'll buy them, and yeah, indeed the loop here, the band is stainless, but they use a normal steel screw, and so you try to tighten them up and your fittings leak, and this thing just disintegrates and turns into rust. So look for that when you're buying these clamps. And the real ones, the proper ones, like the ones made by Ideal, will say all stainless steel, because they're not all made the same. Alright, enough talking, let's put this thing together here. There's the beauty of these fittings, no clamps, and you can reuse them. It's by using they come with a simple tool where you compress this disc right here. You can reuse them on other things. So, you know, now that I look at this, you see over here I've got a span here where this pipe is sticking up. So I'm gonna step on that, and it's gonna cause problems. I thought I'd leave it, but let's do it right now, so we don't have to come back here and repair it. All right, so we want to 90 this down here, so just get it on the ground so we don't have to worry about people tripping over it and causing problems. So I'll put that down there, and again I'll mark that with my thumb. Put our clamps on, and then we'll clamp all these down. Alright, now for our final connection. That's better. Connection to the main. You can see right there, by 90ing that down, it gets it down on the ground. It's just one less thing to worry about. I forget who it was. One of the subscribers, if you can take credit for this saying, I think you were telling me that it was your grandfather that said, it's funny how we never have the time to do it right, but we always have the time to do it over, or to fix it after it wasn't done right. And I had not heard that before, and that is so true. It sticks with me. I think about that all the time. So take a little extra time now and do it correctly, and then it's less to worry about, and chances are you're not going to have to go back and do it over. So let's turn on the water and see how it works.
Can I turn it on yet?
You can.
This is great. I thought we were just going to ring the hose on the inside. No?
Nothing but the best for you.
Thank you.
So we were getting ready to shoot this segment, and what'd you say?
Well, I'm always on the downslope, so I look like I'm really, really short, and he looks really, really tall, but actually we're both, well, he is really tall, but I'm normal.
You have a tall personality.
Tall and big hair.
So we've gotten the last few videos where we're she's standing on a box, or a mound of dirt.
I'm actually sitting really up high on the potting bench now, so I look normal. Or maybe I look a little tall, perhaps.
Well, that is going to be a problem for this vent. So what I'm going to show you is the vent. This is a kind of a really hard construction, this gambrel roof using this polycarbonate, this corrugated stuff. It's really a nightmare to try to deal with. Conventional framing or windows or anything, it just doesn't work with it. So I really spent a lot of time thinking on how to vent this, because it was probably 130 degrees in here the other day. It was just way too hot. We had to get some of that heat out of there. I didn't want to cut skylights in the top because of the snow load, and I hate to penetrate the roof unnecessarily. So this is what I came up with, this postmodern deco, what would you call this, angle? Anyway, the reason why it's at an angle is because it just maximizes the space. I use as much space as I can in that gambrel. So what I'm hoping to do is to put the standard greenhouse arms on here that have kind of a thermostat in them, and when they reach a certain temperature they close up, and that arm will pull this vent open. So we'll start with this one, and if that's not enough, then we can add another one on the other side, and then we have, of course, the door there. So hopefully that'll work. That's what I came up with. And
thanks for your help, Bob.
Yeah, my dad and I brainstormed, and this is what we came up with. And then what else we've got? The flashing.
Flashing's up.
Let's take you outside and I'll show you kind of how another problem is trying to trim this and finish it with this polycarbonate. So We used some Z-strip and some flashing. I'll show you how we put that together. And it actually turned out pretty good, all things being considered. Does that mean I'm Bob Barker?
Yeah, you're Bob Barker. I've got my good mud attire on.
So how we finish this is just using some Z molding, which is molding that just goes like this. Because the problem is, as the water runs down, will get behind the siding and rot this whole thing out. So now as the water comes down the siding, it will hit this molding and then run down and be fine. And then of course just standard 90s on the corner. And it's not going to be 100% waterproof, but
that's what we got.
Yeah, mostly as waterproof as it can be. And it's just not so important with the greenhouse because there's so much sun here. We have so many sunny days that it will be warm, and if wood gets wet and dry, you know, it's not the end of the world. So it'll last us long time. But that's what we came up with, and it looks pretty good. It'll finish off really nice. So we're going to finish up building the shelves. We probably have 1 or 2 more videos left in this, and we're going to.
And then you'll be sick of greenhouse videos.
Yeah, boy, this has been a thorn in my side. I'm very happy to get it done. Like I really get into something, motivated to do it, and then if I don't get it done before my short attention span wanes, then it kind of drags on.
It'll be done.
Yeah, it'll be done. All right, so we'll see you on the next video, and thanks for watching.